Okay, today I'm taking a look at SolydK. It's the KDE version of SolidXK. SolidXK was basically forked from Linux Mint when Linux Mint used to have a Debian edition. They stopped having the Debian edition, so SolidX decided to keep it going, which was an XFCE desktop based on Debian. And then they came out with the KDE Plasma version, and this is the version that I'm trying out today. I just installed it on my system. I'm going through some of the first steps here. As soon as I booted up, I got this welcome screen, which so far has allowed me to install Flash and CSS to be able to play libdvd CSS and what's necessary for playing DVDs and playing Flash videos. So I'm going to go to the next screen and see what's next. Okay. GNU Cache, Dolly Bar, a whole bunch of stuff that I'm not too familiar with. Project management software, okay, I'm not really interested, so I'll pass that. GIMP, yes I want, and Inkscape, Shotwell, Digicam, Amarok, Handbrake. Okay, all the stuff for video editing and photo management, so I will install that. I have to put in my password. Once I get through these first steps, I'll give you a quick overview of the KDE Plasma desktop, the way it's handled with SolydK. I mean, from the live environment that I tried with it, I really enjoyed it and thought I would give it a go and do a quick overview of it. The problem with installing it, well, it wasn't really a problem, it's just it's a very slow process. It took about 40 to 45 minutes on my system. They say that it should usually take between 15 and 30 minutes, which still is quite long for a Linux distribution that doesn't have very much software as stock. So now you get a chance once it's installed to install more software, which is a good thing, especially for beginners who don't know exactly where to start, looking for replacements for some of the Windows software that they're used to. At least now I'm seeing that there's a good opportunity to install it once you booted into it for the first time from the welcome screen, which I think is a good thing. Because everything else with the KDE Plasma desktop, there's a lot of customizations you can make to it, but if you use it just as you would Windows, it shouldn't really be too complicated for a new user. I mean, I guess I'm a little bit biased because I've been using Linux now for a while and it's quite simple for me, but I've heard from others that a new user could get lost in all of the customization options. But we'll go through that in a second. Okay, I'm going to cut this and come back to it once it's installed. Once the software is installed. Okay, so that didn't take quite as long as I thought. It's just a couple of extra minutes. We'll go to the next screen and see what they have. Gparted, which is good for checking out your partitions. VirtualBox, if you want to install different systems within your system. FileZilla, which is an FTP client. I don't think I'll need that. If there's anything I need, I can install it later. Steam for games. Mindtest, Zero AD, Battle for Westnoth. Okay, a bunch of the more popular open source games. You can install them right away if you want. I'm just going to skip it. Play on Linux to install Windows games within Linux if you have the CDs or the installers. And you'd be using Wine. So that seems to be it. You could install this. If you like games, I would recommend it, I guess. but I am not going to go through this process. Okay, we'll take a quick look at the rest of this Plasma desktop. The idea with Plasma is that basically everything is a widget. If you want to install new widgets, you'd go add widgets, and then they have all the different widgets you can install here, either within your panel. Well, I'm getting a bit lost here. Either on your panel or right on your desktop. You can add an analog clock and just drop it here, and there's your clock. Click and hold, this comes up. You want to, there we go. I can undo it, it'll be back. Click and hold, and then I can make it bigger or smaller by dragging this. Appearance, show second hand, sure. Time zone, no. Keyboard shortcuts, not interested, okay. And there you can see I have the second hand. Make it quite small. Anyways, I don't really want it. That's fine. Anything which has a blue dot here is already installed. Your Bluetooth thing is here. Battery and brightness, I guess, is within here somewhere. Battery and brightness. So anyways, that's how you do that. If you want to adjust the panel, you can add a spacer, add widgets. Height, make it really big, really small, you just click and hold. Screen edge, if I want to put it here, or if I want to put it up there, you can put it where you want. I'll just leave it at the bottom as it usually is. More settings, more things you can adjust here. Go out of that, go to the menu. Okay. There are different versions of menus and widgets. To get to them, you would right click on the menu and you would click on alternatives. You can have your application menu, application launcher, or an application dashboard. If I click on application dashboard, switch, once I click on this, I get a full screen version of the menu. Click anywhere that doesn't have an application to get out of it. I don't really like that very much, so I'll go to alternatives. Application launcher, some people might like, which is a launcher like this. Applications here, computer, history, and then to leave, reboot, shut down, and whatnot. Again, I'm not too fond of that. It seems to take a bit longer to get through things. If I wanted to just take a quick look through the menu, there's a bunch of clicking back and forth that goes on. So I'll just right click on it, click on alternatives, and stick to the application menu that it came with, which is just a simple menu with pop-out sub-menus. This is where your favorites go. You can see if you want to add something. Console's already there. Discover isn't. We'll just add to favorites and it gets added. I want to get rid of it, right click, remove from favorites, but I will leave it there. We'll go through the Discover. There's two ways of adding software on SolydK. It has the KDE Discover, and it also has Synaptic Package Manager. The Discover is probably a lot better for a new user to look through. People who don't know what applications they're looking for, what they are. You can have a search here or just browse through the different applications, and then you have your categories down here to narrow it down. Say I'm looking for a graphics application. Then it has a little image with a little description of what the applications are. Blender, if you want it, you just click on install and you'll enter in your password and then it'll install. So it's a fairly, from the little bit that I've used of it, it seems to be fairly stable. Here's where my updates are. Right here is also a notification to let me know there are updates. I would just right click, see updates, update settings, or just click here, and then update all. Linux headers, Linux image, SolidXK system. I'll click on update all, click yes, and enter in my password. And you can see it's installing the updates. So all in all, the KDE Plasma desktop is a pretty good, complete desktop experience. Here's the system settings, workspace theme. Okay, you have the SolidXK Dark, apply. Desktop theme, different things you can adjust, cursor theme, again the different options, say I want this, apply, now my cursor is a little purple thing, splash screen, that's SolidXK Dark, I'll leave it as that. While I'm at it, I will change the desktop wallpaper. They have quite a few different options here. I'll just stick to the SolidK darker. There you go. So there's a lot of things you can adjust. Color. Go back here. Icons, application style. When you go over it, you have a little sub menu here to let you know what's inside that category. Startup and shutdown has auto start, background services, and desktop session. There's quite a bit that you can adjust through here. If you want to get your welcome screen back where we first started, you double click here. SolidXK systems, I'm not too sure what that is. So there seems to be a problem here. So I guess it's not 100% foolproof, but I'm sure if I reboot or look through some of the different settings, we'll be able to figure it out. But like I say, KDE Plasma is, so far it's been a fairly good, apart from this little glitch that we had, it's been fairly stable. Get back to my updates, they're almost all done. So this is a quick overview of SolidXK, which is a Debian based KDE Plasma desktop. I like it. I wouldn't highly recommend it, but if you're interested in finding out what KDE Plasma is like, this is a fairly good distribution to start out with. Personally, I like it better than Kubuntu. I tried KDE Neon and it was very unstable, kept on crashing on me. I tried a few different versions before I came to this one. And so far for KDE Plasma, this has been the most stable that I've had yet. It's not the latest version of Plasma, which is probably why it's a bit more stable. But yeah, it's been a fairly trouble-free go. So I recommend it for people who want to find out what Plasma is all about. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.